Alright, so yesterday I took a small look at this thread here made by Chatterbox, and Chatterbox, pretty cool person, right? Makes some interesting posts at times, and they are a YouTuber. Just gonna go ahead and shout them out if you guys want to go ahead and check out their channel. They make a lot of Legends contents and stuff like that, right? So yeah, feel free to check them out, check out their Twitter as well, and yeah, so they made this, again, 8 things that Legends did that Dokkan should do as well. So this is kind of them stating, this is ways that Dokkan can improve by looking at how Legends did things. And I will say for a while, like Legends early on, it really seemed like that they're kind of doing similar things to what Dokkan did at times in their lifespan. And then obviously, they diverged like very, very quickly after that because they're just completely different games, PvE focused. And this game doesn't obviously stop PvE, but it's like majorly PvP focused, I would assume, right? It's Legends was made off of Dokkan feedback, apparently, right? So yeah, let's just go ahead and see the thread and let's see what's going on here. So tag management. So in Dragon Ball Legends, a character will have every tag that has anything in their card belongs to. For example, I left Goku and Frieza having both Saiyans and Lineage of Evil. In Dokkan Battle, however, the dual trio units only have tags that the group of characters share, and that is true, right? So I did actually bring up Join Forces ahead of time for this, but let's say, for example, even the 17s, I think they're missing like some of these categories that Android 17 by himself would have. And it just like could be an issue to where some of these characters could be on much larger teams than they would. For example, I think a big example is this, this Vegeta and Trunks. Let's say they could be on pure Saiyans, they could be on hybrid Saiyans, they could be on some of these like Vegeta based teams. Like, let me bring up a Vegeta unit and a Trunks unit and I'll just talk about it in more detail. Let's say, I don't know, where's this Int Blue Vegeta, and then this, actually we could, I know exactly who to bring up. These guys right here. Where are they? These two, right? Like, there's teams that they're missing. Worthy Rivals, Realm of Gods, Gifted Warriors, Master Evolution, Battle, no, not Battle Fate. Let's see, Time Travelers are on as well. Okay, and then this guy is on Exploding Rage, but I don't think that they'll be on Exploding Rage. There's Battle of Wits, Hybrid Saiyans, I guess Super Saiyans is, okay, they're not on Power Beyond Super Saiyan, huh? Yeah, because it's Super Saiyan 1 Trunks. That's so stupid. That should be Super Saiyan 2 Trunks. That's a whole other just issue with Dokkan and just Trunks specifically. The revenge category interested will. Like, there's so many teams that they could be on this extra. But then, because they're a Joint Forces unit, they're only on, what, these... I think these are 8 category teams. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, they could be in, like, 14, 15. And those category teams could use like the help for the really strong slot 1 unit like this guy. Very flexible with the link set as well. But it is what it is, right? It would be a really good idea, I think, for Dokkan to take that. Now, I think the unit that would benefit the most from like getting these extra categories, where is this guy? Right here. Imagine the categories this unit would get. All of Goku's teams, all of Gohan's teams, all of Frieza teams, all of his, this Vegeta's team, and 17's team as well. They're only on 3 teams because of that, but they'd actually be on like 30 categories if it was working like it was in Legends. And it's like, at this point, it doesn't really matter. Super Battle Road back then, it was like kind of different because, again, like the content was really based around Super Battle Road and being all these category teams. And it's like, this guy was like on every Super Battle Road like ever. Like, I mean, he's still restricted to representing number 7, but that would be just absurd, right? But it's not really that case anymore. I just don't think it really matters. It just would be helpful. Even though, again, this unit is like restricted to representing number 7 anyway, so it really doesn't even matter. They also suck, right? So I think it would be good to bring that, right? Because again, this unit would get like Wicked Bloodline, Terrifying Conquerors, the Road Warriors, Pure Saiyans, right? Maybe even Super Saiyan. I would assume this could be Super Saiyan, maybe. Well, it's just a base from Goku, the name, so whatever. So, I was talking with some people about this yesterday as well. Team building. The leader slot is what helps make teams and legends diverse. By slapping a unit in the leader slot, you can create really interesting combinations. For example, this Android 17, obviously is not from GT. Most it's left from 17. But how the leader slot works is that all units basically still give you the buff of their normal abilities, like the Z abilities, even though this guy is not on, any of the tags that he's buffing, which most of them are buffing the GT tag. 17 obviously is not on the GT tag. If Dokkan were to add some way to include a character who's on a leader skill of the team, it can make very interesting combinations, can help lacking units a ton. And I think that would be cool. I mean, there would be the situation where people would just throw Bulma on every single team ever. And honestly, that would just help, like, so many teams. Like, imagine if Bulma, let me bring up the categories. Like, like, especially for a villain, just throwing Bulma on these villain teams, it would be really stupid. What are the categories? Hello. It would just be so dumb. It's like, throw Bulma on fusions, right? Throw Bulma on a hybrid Saiyans team. Throw Bulma on the Realm of Gods team. And some of these villain teams too, like let's say transformation boosters, throw Bulma on there, throw Bulma on movie bosses. Let's think of another team that space traveling warriors, Turles leads, terrifying conquerors, the Kamehameha team. The Android Soul Saga team has, I guess, some units, right? Final Trump card is pretty good with all the units right now. Like, just good and bad teams, like throw in Turtle School. Like, you can just, every single team just throw Bulma on there, and that's what people would do. And it's like, in one hand you could say it helps, make some interesting combinations, but in reality people are just gonna throw like Bulma on every team. And it's like, okay, well, I mean, I still think it's helpful, I still think it's good, but it would kind of like, I don't know, you could make an argument it could become repetitive or even more repetitive and make teams even feel the more same. Like, you could just throw a GT duo. People are just gonna put the best units in the game on other teams, which, I don't know. If you want to say, like, it'll get too repetitive, sure. I don't think I personally would really care. I think it would just be too helpful for villain teams to have something like that happen. Or, you could put a unit like, I guess Vegeta and Trunks wouldn't really work, right? But just some of these like slot 1 units, like Amon and Raisin could work because they're at least a support, right? So maybe you could put them on the movie bosses team led by Cooler or something like that. Transformation boost maybe as well, right? Let's see. Interesting character specific abilities. Dokkan could go along with adding more character defining abilities and units besides the everyday counter, active, and standby skill. I feel like they add new stuff periodically, and there's a lot of different stuff that Dokkan does, but the game is usually pretty simple, and I think there's a reason for that. For example, an ability to dodge any attack, have a limited use counter against anything, gain once per turn buffs when a gauge of key orbs fills but stays at the level it was at if not filled. I mean, this is kind of like how the 8th anniversary mechanic does work, and I'm sure there will be characters in the future who will like give themselves support buffs or something if that like gauge is filled, or in a sense you could say active skills, you meet the condition, and this kind of does happen, right? To be able to live a killing attack and regenerate health once per turn. This is like a Majibu ability. I think that'd be really cool. A time stop ability and so much more. I mean, yeah, they haven't done hit in a while, and I'm assuming when we get a hit, we could potentially see something like that. But the thing about Dokkan is that, like, they probably would prefer the actual mechanics in the game to be a little more simpler, because this is a game you're intended to really like open and play for like 30 minutes, an hour a day or something, maybe 2 hours a day, depending, like, if there's like anniversary going on or worldwide celebration going on. So they want to likely keep the gameplay more simple instead of adding a lot of these like convoluted parts of the passives. I mean, and even then, passives are already getting really long. I mean, I'm sure, again, if you're Legend players, you understand, but like, let's look at the physical God Goku. These passives are getting really long, and Again, this game is like an older gacha as well. There's no like PvP aspects and stuff like that, and it's really supposed to be a game that you just kind of play for a couple of, minutes, a dozen of minutes or something like that. I don't know, it's a weird way to say it, right? Unlike Legends, I feel like Legends is the game that with the PvP aspect you want to play a lot more, and because of the PvP aspect you would much rather have much more diverse, like, kits in the units with them doing different things. I still think it would be nice for Dokkan to introduce more mechanics in the game. That's definitely true, right? New mechanics always spice things up, makes things more interesting. But it would have to be something that's like a little more simple-ish, right? Not saying that this isn't necessarily simple, just saying it's kind of just like a general point that I want to make, right? But yeah, more character defining abilities could be interesting, right? We'll see what happens. Better free to plays. I don't think that this is necessarily a good point recently. I mean, I'm sure people may have pointed this out. Yeah, literally Golden Week just did this. We've been getting some pretty good free to play units. Is there a way I could bring up Shattering the Limit? The free to play units recently, or I could bring up the timeline of events as well. Well, whatever. We'll just go to Shattering the Limit here, like with this scale. Dokkan's been pushing out some good free to play units, and I think that it is helpful. Like recently, we got Relo. Relo was kind of an L, I'll be honest. This unit wasn't really that great, but like we got Jackie Chun. Jackie Chun's really good. He came out this year. Let's see, who else did we get from this year? We got Easy Esther Vegeta Blue last year, and he was a pretty good first time. Emergency Goku is pretty good for this time, right? All the meta coolers last year, most of them were actually pretty nice, especially this guy, because he has like a high chance to dodge. He's an orb changer. He's supporting, right? That guy's really interesting. This Gohan could have been better, but he's not like necessarily a bad unit. I think he's solid, right? He's not terrible. Maybe that sounds like hope, but let's see. And there's of course a bunch of other units that came out. This Jackie Chun is really good though. Like he's cooking. Again, the metal cooler is pretty good. Just looking at some new units, this Bulma is really good. I think again this metal cooler, I think this guy's like he's a healer, isn't he? Yeah, I mean the healing could be really interesting too. Let's see. Again, this Yamcha is quite strong for sure. This guy right here is like a pretty nice free to play unit for like super battle and stuff, especially. This guy can cook. And I think this guy actually, people didn't really talk about him, but him having the great chance to evade enemy attacks like the first 5 turns, I think that's pretty interesting for considering the fact that it was like, meta cooler core and stuff like that. Like we're kind of in a shorter like period of like really difficult events still. And one last unit I want to bring up is this Tech Bulma. I mean, this Tech Bulma is just crazy. Again, I think it's the same with Legends and Dokkan. Sometimes free-to-play units just are fumbled. Like this celebration, we got the Ultimate Gohan that came out with this Vegeta, and this Ultimate Gohan sucks balls, right? Basically, this Ultimate Gohan sucks. He's garbage. So it's like Legends and Dokkan, sometimes they hit or miss with their free-to-play units, both of them. So I wouldn't think this is actually like a point. And a lot of these free-to-play units can beat the most difficult events in the game. Like this Bulma just tanks everything in the game, and she's probably going to be able to tank any like attack in the game forever. Like 77% reduction, like, and then her defense is going to be high enough. Like I don't see a time where she's like really going to be aged out anytime soon. Maybe for like 7 months. I said months. And for like 5-7 years into the game, and then things can start like hitting too hard where her defense stat is just not there. But this Bulma is going to be really strong for a very long time. So add more reasons to log in and play the game every day. Right now in Legends, it's 30 minutes of daily content plus many rewards. Makes the game a lot more fun than just a log in, log out thing. I think that's fair. Again, just that Dokkan, Legends as a PvP game, I think it's just intended you play Legends more than what you would play Dokkan. Not saying that that shouldn't change, but that's just the design philosophy by how some of these older games work and by how Dokkan is intended to be done as just a simple mobile game, right? For the most part, right? Which is why when people finish all the content one day and playing this whole content, it's kind of like, well, you're not really supposed to finish it in one day. You're supposed to play this game in bursts, right? It's just supposed to be something fun on the side. It's not a game you should like necessarily main unless maybe you're a content creator, right? Which, you know, me as a content creator, I would love to get more content for sure. And I would say this mission's just easy. Make more missions. I don't even think that has to be this more like actual new events and stuff like that. Just like more category missions, like a daily rotation of a category mission. Go beat the legendary Goku event with this category team or something, like as an extra mission that you get daily. Maybe you can get like, you know, since it'll be daily, like a dragon stone, like 1 stone or something like that, right? But obviously if you do it over time, like you could help build up some dragon stones. They're not going to give you like 5 stones a day from like doing legendary Goku event. Or instead, you know, they could give us weekly legendary Goku event missions, beats this, you know, event with this category team. And then for monthly missions, beat this event with a red zone team. Beat this red zone with the category team, right? And that gives more people to beat the harder, difficult content, right? And I think that would be just nice to have, right? Just so we could like, okay, I'm incentivized to replay this content that I cleared once and I don't have to clear again unless I'm really testing on a unit, right? And it's like, okay, I could play this, you know, and get rewards, right? Which, you know, it would help for like downtimes. Like right now we're waiting for part 2 LR and it's like we've already used all the units that came out, and it's like, okay, well, we're just kind of chilling here. Maybe I can get this mission done. You know, it's Sunday today, right? Yeah, it's Sunday. The missions for the weeklies reset. Bam. Usually the data download a lot of times like is in the middle of the week. So like if they have the missions reset here, and then you do those missions for like this period, then at the end of the week they drop content, and it's like kind of like a refresh schedule of that or something. That can be really cool. Yeah, I mean, Dokkan used to do Purunga stuff. It's been a while since they did that. Like that, I think Dokkan handles the Purunga stuff pretty well. I like how Dokkan does like Purunga and Shenron and stuff. PvP. It's just, well, no, I think he's supposed to be the daily reward. So I was gonna say, okay. Let's see. Better buffs from equipment. Right now, Dokkan skill orbs are practically unnecessary to beat an event. Legends equipment is key to building a team. I would say in the data, I remember Hydro said this one time. I forgot how long ago it was, but if they could make equipment do anything, skill orbs of Dokkan could be made to change passives, add to passives. You know, that you can give rainbow orb changing into skill orb or something, right? And then it would work similar to like Legends, you know, special character equips, platinum equips, right? I don't think that skill orbs necessarily are like a bad thing, right? But they're just kind of boring because they're just stats and additional. They don't give you like many interesting abilities, right? Or branch out like that, and it is kind of like disappointing, like how Legends is with their equipment system. But I think that's just unfortunately, again, Dokkan, you could see a pattern. They want to keep these mechanics like as simple as they can. Eventually they're gonna have to, like, again, like I showed God Goku, they're gonna have to like add some more complicated things, like you get this buffs with this amount of orbs and this buff with this amount of orbs, but that's still not too crazy, right? Especially if you've been playing the game for a while. I want to see the quotes on this one. Legends core gameplay was designed with equipment in mind. Dokkan just tacked them on. If we start making them like Legends, we see worse power creep. If you want unique equipment, they already live the anniversary units. That's fair, right? And Islands is the complete opposite. Based on quest stacks, I wouldn't be surprised this around the corner. I think this is what I'm thinking. I think that's how like the re-EZAs could kind of work with like the equipment. I had a whole video. Did I make a video on that? I think I did. I had a whole idea on that. It was like, okay, you know, each month the character's like stats could increase, or you could like re-challenge the event, and then you can get a slightly stronger version of the same skill orb that you could put back on your character, right? Make the online aspect more engaging. For being an online game, Dokkan really lacks in the online aspect and barely has any features other than the friend system. Dokkan can add this by adding things like raids, other things excluding PvP. I mean, yeah, like a raid boss, like an EZA kind of raid boss would be just good to have, right? Just as an extra thing. Doesn't have to give like the same amount of rewards, like 30 plus stones necessarily, if they're really afraid of that. Just something to do. Give us, and again, good rewards like Elder Kai, something could be cool. Even Hercule statues could be cool, even, I guess, kind of, right? Most people would really want the stones, and I would assume they would still give stones for that, right? But like some extra things, maybe skill orbs could be in the equipment, like exchange thing, right? They could do a lot of things like that. Hidden potential orbs as well. Guild, Dokkan Guild is like, would be interesting, but they have to add stuff like this, like content where people group together like this. Skip tickets could really remove the hassle of grinding an event. I believe Dokkan used to be able to skip an event by using skip tickets corresponding to what the enemy used to plat the stage. I don't know what you mean by plat the stage. Here's the requirements to skip something: clear the event 3 times instead of 1, prevent being able to skip the whole game, have every mission from the event cleared. Yeah, I mean, if they would have to put restrictions on that, right? Because the thing about Dokkan, again, is that they had auto for a reason, right? They want you to actually like sit and play the game, I guess, right? Or at least like watch these animations. They don't necessarily like want you to skip the entire event like that. Just like, oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna head in, I'm gonna do this event once and then skip it 10 times to awaken the Dokkan event medals. I would love that. I would be like, thank you, but that's not something that they would necessarily want to do. So I think something like this, where there's requirements to have to skip something, maybe they add missions to Dokkan events. Clear the Turles Dokkan event with Goku category ally in the or I say category, but like with the Goku family category ally on the team or something, right? And stuff like that. Clear it within 3 minutes, right? There used to be missions like that where you have to clear Dokkan events within a certain time frame. That can just make things more fun, just more rewards, right? And then you clear those missions, you beat the event 3 times, then you can skip the Dokkan event. And it's like you do these missions, you set up different team builds, and it could be fun. And then it rewards you for doing that, because then you could just skip the stage, and then you don't have to like farm like freaking 30 minutes to use a character. I don't know. I think that Dokkan event farming, we all understand, is really annoying. So if they really don't want to, like, let's say, add a different difficulty to Dokkan events and make it just very difficult, which I think might even be preferred, because it's like, if they make like all these Dokkan events like red zone difficulty, that means that every month we're getting at least one like red zone difficulty level event, and I think that would satisfy so many people's complaints right now about difficult content. A lot of people are complaining about that, right? I think there's a solid reason for it. Again, my theory is that last year, from when the global anniversary start all the way till basically January, all the difficult content like in the 200% meta dropped in that time span. We got Broly on Omega and Global, you guys got that. Then after, like, basically, like, a month and a half after, you got all the Metal Cooler Core, like, what is it, the Wicked Bloodline stages. Between that, you got Cell Max. Then at the end of the year, even between that, we got the Heroes Red Zone, right? That's another thing. And then at the end of the year, we got the Red Ribbon Army Red Zone. So then when the year went back to how it usually is, it's always been like this at the beginning of this year, right? There's not really any difficult content that drops in the first 6 months of the year, except for JP for the what's it called, the anniversary, and that's how it was last year, really. So people are kind of like not used to not having like difficult content dropped all the time. Like last year was so good that people are like, where's the content, right? So I think it'll be very similar at the end of the year, but that's why they kind of have to like sync the games up, right? But that's me getting off topic here. Banner specific pity system. In addition to having coins to get older units you missed, you used to be able to get have a way to get brand new tickets. Now beware, it will cost almost 2,500 stones to get the new ticket, or 250 stones for a ticket. I mean, yeah, I'm always saying pity would be good. I don't know if it would necessarily be like this pity or another way, but I just don't think that they need pity or they want to add it. So, well, we'll see. We'll see, right? In the future, they could eventually one day they'll add pity, right? But it would be good for them to have pity for a lot of players. And it's like, okay, you save up and then you get to summon the spanner, but guess another thing, they don't really necessarily want people to save up, right? So, end of thread. You may have added a bit more than 8. You wasn't really keeping track. Yeah, I don't know how many it was, but I think this was still a pretty good thread overall. I think there was a lot of good, interesting ideas just to make Dokkan a more, like, just a better game, really. I guess it's not really another way to say it. So let me know what you guys think about this thread. If you think Dokkan should take some of these things from Legends, which would be your favorite thing? And yeah, speaking of Dokkan, I think again the 13th should be the LR reveal. So tomorrow I'll probably have a video talking about who the LR could be. But let me know what y'all think again, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.